I low-key hate little bonnets. Just cause like there's just something so fry cook about it. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like the big bonnet, it always gives me so much more. But the little bonnet, there's just something about it. It just looks like I'm about to cook something real good. And I am. But still, it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite size of bonnet. I don't know. Does anybody here have a favorite size of bonnet? Feel free to share if you do. But I do like that this bonnet holds my ears and hugs my head because my big bonnet, oh, she loose. She very loose. I had some braids in her and just stretched her all the way out. She's still with us, but she's definitely like a weave bonnet now. She's not a natural bonnet anymore. So rest in peace. Rest in peace. Anyways, I am about to. Okay. I was going to read the degrees of the day because I was just feeling it. And I've been doing it on Twitter. And I just feel like I'm such a chatty bitch that I feel like Twitter doesn't really let me give too much. And I feel like I try not to give too much on Twitter. Just because, again, I feel like I give enough on there. I give enough on there. But I feel like, again, I feel like I try not to do too much on Twitter because, to be honest with you, you can end up in a back and forth that is just. I've just had some back and forths that were just, what the fuck are we doing here? But it was Twitter, bitch. So, oh my God, bitch, Dane got me some lavender syrup. I don't know anybody out there who also enjoys an iced Earl Grey, but bitch, lavender and vanilla syrup in the iced Earl Grey. Trust me, it is the most delicious iced tea I've ever had in my fucking life. But that's just me. Now, for anybody here who is a Sagittarius, there is currently a Sag stellium happening. And okay, none of them are retrograde, which is cute. But Sag energy, Jupiter energy, very, very interested in movement, but upward movement. Very interested in expanding, gaining information, gaining intelligence. Very interested in movement, period. Traveling, learning, just anything that can change your perspective, literally and figuratively. And so, with that happening, it may feel like you're stuck, especially if you're broke. Like, it may really be one of those moments where you feel like you really can't do what you really want to do. And I'm hoping people can hold that you are exactly where the fuck you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to be anywhere else. If you feel like someone destiny swapped with you or took your path, I need you to hold that. That sounds plausible, but no one can take what's for you. If something's for you, how could it be for anyone else? It just doesn't make sense. I want you to think about things that have happened to you, good things, or even just things that happened that you were just not expecting. Ask yourself why you didn't expect it. Like, really ask yourself why it wasn't something you deserved or something you worked for. I want people to start thinking about receiving because Sag can make us really want to get more, which is a great feeling, when you want more, when you see that there's more out there to get. But celebrating what we have, celebrating how far we've come, celebrating the information that we've gathered because we were open, because we were willing to take in new information. Easier said than motherfucking done, right? With that being said, the sun is currently at 26 degrees Sagittarius. And I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Do I know all the degrees off top? Fuck no. And I would not suggest you try to learn. If you learn your own, that's cool. That is very cool. And honestly, learning your degrees may be really helpful for you. I know for me, learning the degrees in my birth chart has really, really helped me in terms of like realizing what is my mission. I know I probably sound however I sound, and that's fine. I'm comfortable with sounding crazy. Like I had to hold after reading my birth chart. I'm going to sound crazy to many people, and I have to make peace with that. I have to make peace with the reality that we're in a time where it's so much easier and faster to appraise somebody as unworthy and go. It's much harder. It takes way more time, energy, self work to really sit with what someone says and not just click the fuck out. Like I have to realize like these are things I do as well. I definitely will sometimes just dip out on something and I won't give it a chance. And again, does that make anybody bad? No. But I'm willing to hold that if I can do it too, then how I move forward with that reality makes is going to make or break, or maybe not make or break, but it's going to change how I operate moving forward. Because if I know I can do it too, what do I want in terms of shifting? Like, how could I see a shift? With that being said, our sun, the collective sun, we are all being influenced by the sun. The sun is seen as consciousness, things that you think you see, like snapshot, like first impression. And so it says climbing the steps of the pyramid of the sun. Whoa. Also, something personal that I do that you don't have to do, but something that just seems to make sense to me is I will add up numbers all the time. And so Sagittarius 26 degree, 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 is typically a mental number. If you turn 8 on its side, it's like the two parts of the brain. And so whenever I see 2 digits or 3 digits, and depending on what's going on, I will add those numbers up and try to catch that energy. Oh, I love that they held your review. I'm gonna hide you on the channel, but thank you for liking my bonnet. They didn't like my bonnet, but I can say they did. Anyways, but yeah, like I was saying though, we're at 26 degrees Sagittarius for the sun, and it said walking up a pyramid step. Excuse me, climbing the steps of a pyramid. Climbing the steps of the pyramid of the sun. So I'm gonna type in 26 Sagittarius in Google. This is typically what I do whenever I'm doing the horoscopes. And I will try to find the Sabian symbol. There is a person who has a blog that I really love. I want to say their name is like John Sand something. Yep, John Sandbach. Love their blog. They give so much. Okay. 26 degrees Sagittarius, a candle mysteriously undisturbed by wind. I always Google whatever degree I find originally because there's usually so much more out there. And so climbing the steps of the pyramid of the sun, that sounds great. But a candle mysteriously undisturbed by wind. Ooh. The death of death. The angel connected to this degree is Nitael, rejuvenation and eternal youth. Wow. Enough is never enough. Eloquence. The title Beyond Mind is fitting for this degree. Thoughts truly are like wind in that they push against everything and can create much turbulence. When one gains the power to detach from mind, even if just a little bit, there is an increasing steadiness in the being that brings us closer to spiritual clarity. This degree carries a creative vision that is impervious, more or less, to the agitations of thought. The Chandra symbol for this degree is climbing the steps of the pyramid of the sun to ascend, to get above the world, but not by flying, in a more substantial way, with something solid under your feet. This is the goal of this degree. The person who carries this degree is strongly aware that life has meaning and purpose and is attempting to follow the highest and clearest version of it. The process of getting beyond what is shallow, superficial, and trivial is arduous, but this meets the challenge with steadiness and persistence. Ooh. A man carrying a blank banner, hundreds of feet long, flowing in the wind. A man charting subtle irregularities in celestial movements. The seed degree, meaning if you have any of these degrees, this may be just something that might hit for you. Nine degree Aquarius is the seed degree. A medieval cathedral built on the site of an ancient pagan temple. The urge to unite with the spiritual light is a desire that burns steadily and is unextinguished by changing times, fashions, or biases. Violets blooming by the barred windows of a dungeon. To see that in any confining or difficult situation, succor is always right there to offer itself, is to carry out the arduous task of ascending toward the divine. 23-degree Taurus is the fulfillment degree. Inside a tornado, a spiral staircase. The steadiness of our spiritual light allows us to withstand the violent and relentless onslaughts of the mind. A salamander glowing red-orange. Personally, with the sun in this kind of degree, as someone that has a Sag moon, I find Sagittarius energy really fun and very esoteric, very interesting, always thinking something. And so with all that I've read, our ego may perhaps be a little inflated today. Our ego may be a little ambitious today. It may be wanting us to rise, to be going towards something that is seemingly sacred. And unfortunately, for some of us, we may be worshiping something that is the equivalent of a moth that is around a street light. There's ways that we can be attracted to something that seems bigger than ourselves, that seems more important than ourselves. And I think any pedestalization, any deifying, any putting above, it can be hard. It can be hard because, again, I think for some of us, and I know not everyone's there, but some of us have been deconstructing Christianity, have been deconstructing masculinity, patriarchy, have been deconstructing the idea of something sitting outside of ourselves that is above us, that is telling us something through other people who have motives and desires for our behavior that are, again, important to talk about, but are rarely talked about. And so today might be a day for someone to persevere. It may also be a day for someone to actually, add language to their experience about perhaps being tricked religiously. I know me personally, I've been sharing a lot on Twitter all morning about, just religion and getting tricked by Christianity, and then also Christian nihilism, the idea that like nothing here really matters because we're all going to heaven. And again, the ways that like you can want so badly to like find something sacred and be wrong, but who tells you? And honestly, with enough people around you, it doesn't really matter who tells you the truth. You may still be invested in a collective lie. And so again, it's the ways that this degree coming up has me laughing, because even now I can hold that like some people really need religion to like feel safe. And I think about that too, how like how religion can make some of us terrified, sick, anxious. And some people can feel like this is something that is healing me. This is something that's giving me something. And so again, it's the ways that today might be a day where people realize I'm saying something that you'll never be able to hear. Or maybe you can't hear it yet. You can't hear it yet. Today is not the day for you to get it or to understand it. And again, even it popping up on you, even someone's anti-religious thoughts, or maybe their critical religious thoughts popping up on you, may make you a little distressed, may make you feel a little like no, and then you may want to counter with all the things that make you feel safe in this religion. Again, there's going to be layers today of people wanting to get to what is the most important thing. And I want to urge that it's community. It's making space for your friend to be annoying as fuck and still knowing that that's your friend, even though they're annoying as fuck. Like, it's just ways that we can be a little bit more flexible, and maybe we just don't realize that yet. Maybe people haven't been flexible with us. A lot of times we give people what the fuck we're given. So, all right, now our moon. Moon is subconscious. Moon are things that we know we feel. Like if the sun is what we think we see, The moon is what we know we feel, and we have 8 degrees Sagittarius. So, like I said, anybody who has big Sag placements or even just any Sag placements, it may be really spicy right now for you. Again, Sagittarius is about to be actually, yeah, there's a Sag full moon right now. So just putting that out there that the new moon in Sag being at 8 degrees, eight, what did I just tell you? Mental. So, whew, here we go. Sagittarius 8 degree, the harsh landscape of the moon with a black sky. The earth is not visible. When chaos joins forces with hard and heavy dense frequencies, we are in for an exceedingly difficult journey. The feeling level is depressive and anguish susceptible. The energies are chaotic and almost random. The result is an undercurrent and undertow that is vicious. All seems hopeless. The situation contains no relief in sight. In the thick of this dilemma, a momentum toward the future is being seeded in one of two directions. Either you are condemning yourself to grim and forbidding territory as a form of self punishment for being so far off, or you are preparing the way for a change of heart toward compassion and forgiveness, even for your own greatest weaknesses. It all depends upon whether you can allow in a spiritual light of redemption for the worst, or whether instead your mind is made up and another round of no nourishment is at all is in order for the one who is lost and now has no way back. That is until you let the light into this terrible stress and radically relent from your judgmental stance. Bitch. That really hit. That really hit. Okay, I'm going to John for that 8 degree reading because I really want to hear the symbols for this one. I really love doing this because it does get me more familiar with the ways that our world is so exciting. Ooh, I love iShow Speed. Thank you so much for plugging them. They're really fun. Okay, so Sagittarius 8 degree in the moon. And and there we are. And we found it. All right. And as I was saying, the moon is subconscious. The moon is things that we know we feel, things that we know inside, internally, things that people don't always see unless we're comfortable with them seeing them. And so Sagittarius 8, experts arguing over the authenticity of a painting. Interacting, receptive. The angel is Vasaria, memories, clemency, and equilibrium. This degree loves to speculate concerning mysteries and to look more and more closely at anything to gain clues about the nature of reality. Attachment to particular opinions is always found to be restrictive, but when an openness to new ideas is present, this degree has a genius for uncovering new truths and new aspects of anything to which it turns its attention. The Chandra symbol for this degree is the harsh landscape of the moon with a black sky. The earth is not visible. If we can't see the earth from the moon, then we know we are on the dark side of the moon. In the land of hidden emotions, this very bleak, foreboding image is in the optimistic sign of Sagittarius and signifies Sagittarius meeting those forces which are most against its positive and upward looking attitude. To confront and move through these is difficult and may severely test one's spiritual self confidence, but this degree is ready and willing to do the work. As to the corresponding omega symbol, whatever conclusions the experts come to, the painting in question is what it is and might be at once a fake, meaning a forgery, and a beautiful painting, even a masterpiece. And even though we can have many different opinions about it, our attitudes and beliefs concerning it do not change the painting itself. The experts are judges, and whatever judgments they decide upon, it is best ultimately to focus on enjoying the painting, or if judging is your art form, to enjoy doing that. For judging can be form of playful detective work if you make it so. And this is far better than making it the grim, condemning, and blaming thing that corresponds to the harshness of the Chandra symbol. Either way, a light and appreciative attitude will help to prevent becoming stuck in the joyless, lifeless environment of the Chandra symbol. Wow. Opals splintering and releasing colors. Frustrated in their search for higher consciousness, people pursue novelty everywhere in the world. The seed degree is Cancer 3. In a crowd, a man keeps seeing people he thinks he knows but can't remember from where. When we tune into the eternal nature reflected in the ephemeral and passing things around us, we come to realize that truth has many sides to it. A set of surgical instruments where we carefully and patiently delve deeply into ourselves. We find profound and hidden connections to realms beyond the earthly. The fulfillment degree is Scorpio 21 degrees, the wind whirling thousands of loose manuscript pages. Debate is carried to the point of the disintegration of ideas, which can be an experience of freeing and opening up. A pair of glasses with no lenses in them. When we are able to get beyond earthbound concerns, we come back to earth and can see more clearly, and are also aware of the limitations and restrictions we have been putting on our experience. I appreciate that. You're a Gemini moon. Do you have your degree? I'll read it for you if you're interested. When I read my moon degree, it really did hit for me so hard. I'm Sagittarius 18 degrees in the moon. And so reading, and I'll read it for you now. Like again, as I said, your moon is your subconscious, things that you know you feel. And so if you have your degree, please let me know. I'll read it for you. But we're taking a little break to read my 18th degree symbol because bitch, honestly, I feel like my moon degree explains everything. Like honestly. Personally. Um I genuinely feel like that like once I read it, I was like, that makes sense. All right, so I'm screaming. Okay. Rose petals scattered on a path to make the way easier, more beautiful, so that it is not just a means to a destination, but a joy to travel. This is the ideal of this degree. The rose petals lead us onward. They are love. And when we follow what we love as our own true path, then we are at harmony with the world. This degree is a fine antidote to the grim and compelling agendas with which the world so often oppresses us. A man puts his ear to a daisy. Yes, it is laughing. A love letter stuck in a holy book. The seed degree, Scorpio 3, a mysterious food, a small piece of which will satisfy hunger for days. Once the soul is truly and deeply nourished, it is then free to play. Pigs being fed. When our appetites are satisfied, the path forward becomes easier so that we can more easily see its beauty and feel its love. Fulfillment degree, Virgo 22, a fruit whose seeds always produce a new and different type of fruit. Allowing ourselves to be playful and uninhibited, we find our creativity expanded and enhanced. A woman writing with the tip of her fingernail. When love softens the path, we are more able to clearly see the messages that chance and coincidences are pointing out to us. Sweetie, it's the way I be writing on with my nails on people. Like it's mad funny to read all of this because some of this was new for me to read. But again, it's the ways that every time I read about my moon degree, I'm like, okay, thank you. Getting back on our path, Mercury is in the same degree we just read, which is 8 degrees Sagittarius. So again, the harsh landscape of the moon or the black sky, the earth is not visible. So we have Mercury, which is the planet of communication, and the moon, which is again communicating emotionally. And so we might again feel today. We see people crashing out. Today's going to be a big crash out day, perhaps. Again, 8 degrees, 8, very mental. And so some people may feel like, hey, you don't check on me. Hey, I told you I love you and you're not operating like you love me back. Hey, I miss you, but I don't know how to say it, so I'm gonna fight with you. Hey, I'm hurting, but I hope you're doing well. Like there's going to be people who say things that make you realize, like, oh, they're not okay. And again, whether or not you have the space to say, hey, I can help, or hey, I love you, or hey, like, can we talk? Like, not everyone's gonna have it. Like, I've definitely this week had a crash out where I was just letting people know, like, I don't want to be a burden on you. So if like you don't see me, that's okay. Let's move on. And again, there was someone who took it very to another level, and then there was someone who was like, "Whoa, hold on, I care about you." Like they actually had the spoons, which I appreciated, but again, nobody has to give us that clarity, and anyone that does, of course we're grateful, but again, let's consider that not everyone's going to be in the place to give you that affirmation, to give you that feeling of connectedness. And it's not so much that you're so disconnected it can never be repaired. It's more that they really might be hungry, their bills might be stacking up, they might be really in need and have no framework for how to ask for help. And so if that's anyone here, if anyone needs a mutual aid flyer made, I have some time today. I will be working on my menu, and so if anybody needs to post a flyer but you don't know how to do it, you haven't done one before, you want some information, whatever the case may be, please reach out. Making a flyer can again feel embarrassing at times. I'm definitely understanding that. I've definitely shared so many flyers and I'm past embarrassment. I'm at anger. I'm at annoyance because again, like when we see someone on the side of the road sharing a sign, I think more times than not, a lot of people, depending on how convenient it is, will help. But I do think not enough will even look at that person. And so when you're able to see that people are looking at your flyer, but they won't even hit share, that does feel away. And again, I was just watching a video where I had someone who I was living in their home tell me they don't really know me and that's why they can't share my flyer. And then it came out that they needed a flyer. And that's the only reason why they really didn't share my shit, is because they didn't want me to get money and not them. And so I want folks to hold that, like, I'm asking if you need a flyer shared because I know that I'm going to get money no matter what. I know that I have community and support. I know that you deserve it too. And unfortunately, I've been where that person was, where I'm like, can I share your flyer if I need to share mine? Yes. Yes. And again, if you don't know what it's like to share a flyer, if you've never done it before, try it out. Let me know. I'll send you some flyers. There are people that need support right now. If you need support though, and that's why you're not sharing flyers, I hope you reconsider. I really do, because it's a wild feeling to feel like you can't share because no one's sharing with you. When, again, maybe if someone offered to share with you, things would be different. Hold on a second. Oof. Okay. Sorry. Got a wild text. As I was saying though, Mercury and the moon, um, again, Gemini people might be feeling a little like, what's my path? Like, why isn't anyone, where are all my friends? Where are all the support? Where's the care? Like, the feeling of just being isolated, being alone, feeling too alone. The moon being affected is also going to affect the Cancerian people. I just want folks to consider that, like, there are going to be some very intense emotions felt, especially as the day goes on, because feeling like you can't see the earth, feeling like you can't see the thing that we all live on, like our ancestral home, disorienting. And so there will be some people unfortunately impacted by delusion. Piscean people, the water signs in general, bitch, honestly, and Mercury, the air signs in general, bitch, like, no shade. Just consider what sign or what the energy is, and consider that everybody gonna get hit. Just consider that. All right, now Venus, she is in 22 degree Sag. As I keep on saying, there's a stellium, there's a Sagittarius stellium happening right now. And so if you are a Sag, you will be overwhelmed AF right now, or you will be realizing that you've been preparing for this. So again, some of us will be laughing through this time and not taking it seemingly seriously, but that's because we've been taking things so seriously for so long. we're now very aware of how unserious this time is because we're starting something new. But with that being said, I'm gonna stay focused. Okay, Sagittarius, 22 degrees is Venus. Now, Venus is the goddess of love, okay? What up? If anybody knows their degrees, hit me up. Kim, if people are mean to you and treat you poorly, but you still miss them, I hope you write them letters. You don't have to ever send them, but I want you to save them so you can look back on how you really feel. Because at some point in writing the letters, you might realize that after all of that sadness is anger. After all of that pain is rage. And I'm hoping that you don't get scared when you find that rage that is righteous, because again, some of us have been writing for a while, and some of our writings, if you read them over the years, you may notice you were very hopeful about a connection. Look, Kim, that's not true. That's not true. And for anyone that feels like they have no one, I want you to consider we're all here right now. We'll never be here right now talking about this ever again. We'll never be in this room together on that same type of energy. So I just hope you know that in this moment, you are very much connected to all of us. I think many of us know what this feels like, having family that don't treat us right, and so they're not really having family. I can absolutely empathize, and I hope you know you're very welcome to stay and kick it and talk your shit, because this is what this space is for, to talk about how it's really feeling, to not hide because it doesn't feel good. I'm glad that you're letting this out. And Kim, feeling lost is part of this. As I said, like, we're reading these degrees so we can get this energy out on the table. Because again, some of us are not gonna look at our horoscope. We're not gonna trust a tarot card reader. That's just fine. Every day the planets move. Not all of them. Some of them stay in a sign or at a degree for a little bit. But one thing to note is that a lot of the things that I'm reading for today, people are going to feel extremely disconnected today. Today is a day about reconnection. For some of us, it'll be a day about reflecting on who you really want to reconnect with. And so I'm hoping that you write down all the things that you're feeling, because Kimmy, you have a lot going on. Not Kimmy, sorry, but Kim, you have a lot going on. Clearly, you're breaking silence to people that you don't even know. It is important to note this moment. This is an important moment in your life. You're unwilling to be silent, but you're also maybe not feeling safe to tell the people that have hurt you. Maybe you're not feeling safe to say it again. Maybe you said it in the past very harshly, and now you want to say it nicer. I understand. Take your time, write this down though, please. Because one thing that I'm noticing as I get older is, like, it's so easy to lose the information. It's so easy to lose the website, the app, the account. So easy. Please start writing these things down to yourselves. Not saying I don't want to hear them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is so you can reflect in the future. Year of the Horse. Tell me more. Tell me more about Year of the Horse. I'm crying. I'm crying. Y'all are cute as hell. Okay, so I'm gonna keep on reading. As I said, Venus is goddess of love. Venus is very much wanting a lot right now, because Venus has actually been at this degree for a few days now. The degree is called Blackbirds Flying Out of a Pie. And I want you to consider what that would look like. I want you to consider, like, birds flying out of a pie, how silly that would be. That's what the energy of Venus is asking us for. They're asking us for something so fucking silly. They're asking us for something that is, to pull some energy out of your booty and to laugh. Again, not to treat people poorly, but to, again, take a moment to giggle at the things that don't really make no fucking sense. Okay, it's also a flamenco dancer. As he stamps his purple boots, small clouds of dust are raised. Interacting, sensitive, absolute certainty, perceiver, and revealer. The angel's name is Ariel. Arian. Sorry. A passionate and insistent self-expression is found here. This degree has the ability to stir up energy and to bring transformation to situations by provoking others to see them in a new way. It helps others to get back in touch with what they're really feeling and to go ahead and express themselves, affirming once again the ground of our being. Self-assurance is renewed and we're ready to move on. The Chandra symbol for this degree is blackbirds flying out of a pie. Live birds were never meant to be eaten. There are dark energies we were never meant to take in. In this degree, suddenly and surprisingly, they release, and in a way that is harmless, even humorous and delightful. In the original nursery rhyme, there were 4 and 20 of them, 24 being the number of the soul's complete journey. And so this is not just a partial release of what Eckhart Tolle calls the pain body, but gradually and eventually a complete release of it. This degree is Kabbalistically ruled by the moon, and Sagittarius is the sign of transcendence. Hence the subconscious moon eventually transcending its repressed contents. Screens on which movies have been shown are being washed. Pointing to the sky, a shaman wills it to clear. Sagittarius 21 is the seed degree. Deep in the jungle, travelers discover the ruins of an ancient city. When we deeply reconnect with the past, we are impelled to recreate its energy passionately and in a new form. Toads singing at night, spontaneously calling out to others of our own kind, releases the pent-up forces of our subconscious. Fulfillment degree, Capricorn 22, sugar falling slowly through a giant hourglass. The intensity of our expression allows us to savor the passing of time and the sweetness of every moment. A bare altar covered with black velvet, clearing the energies of the subconscious that need release, creates a deep receptivity that invites clear connection with spirit. With all of that being said, there are layers to this Venusian energy. One that, again, is wanting us to reconnect with each other. But again, the feelings today can be so chaotic feeling that it may be hard to talk to everybody. Not everyone's going to be in a space to communicate. Of course, Kim, of course. Now listen, if you are, I'm crying. If you know what any of your degrees are, I'm definitely down to read. I would personally say if you have your rising degree, that one is going to high key help the most in giving you anything. However, the moon degree, your moon's degree is important as well. And your Venus degree. Now, again, as we said, Venus is the goddess of love. She's very interested in reconnection, but because of Sag 22 being where we're at right now, I kind of feel like there's this energy of, ooh, yo, I am one of the most dangerous bitches. But there's this energy of wanting, sorry. Listen, I feel like when you have your period, I don't know what y'all do to save a chair, but I literally put so much stuff on there. Baby, hey, I'm literally doing a horoscope right now. Also, the chicken is in the oven. What'd you get?
The guy at D-Ross gave me a couple donuts.
You got free donuts?
Yeah.
That's so like fucking cute. Oh, let me see. Oh, thank you. You really like me.
I do. The other one's maple. So
oh my god. Wait, can you hand me my water bottle?
Yeah.
Thank you. How can you mess up in reincarnation? I would love to know more. Yo, that donut is so good. Oh my god. I also want to say for anyone that was worried about me, I haven't seen a fruit fly in 48 hours. I know that probably sounds fake, but it's true. And I'm so fucking grateful because I fucking hate fruit flies. I hate them so much. I want to beat their ass. Like, I don't be wishing death that often, but actually, like, I could bitch. If you would have fallen, that would have been funny, low key. But like I was saying though, I'm grateful the fruit flies are gone, bitch, because they're just so fucking disrespectful. But like I was saying, Venus is very much wanting people to try to laugh with each other, try to talk with each other, try to connect with each other. I'm screaming. Not we don't like wishing death. I feel like it depends. Like if you're homophobic or transphobic, yes. See, that's what you're saying, that they were like in the drain. They weren't in the drain. That's the most fucked up part. They were not living in the drain, friend. Like between me and you, I feel like the biggest like eye opener for me was not closing my brown sugar all the way. They were like trying to eat the brown sugar. They were trying to live in the flour. Like they were not drain flies. Like I know people think that they're all living in the drains. It's not that. Like I think also like one thing that I wanted to say is I had like a garden, like a little like just some herbs on my counter, and I was growing them in water, and I feel like that only exacerbated the issue. Like I keep a lot of produce. Like I'm a very produce heavy person, and so with that being said, like there's just some stuff you don't want to put in the fridge, right? And I feel like once you get them, and also between me and you, I feel like the groceries are older than we think. Like that's my conspiracy theory. Is a lot of these groceries are older than we think. Like I literally had some fucking red potatoes go liquid. I have never, like high key, I've never had potatoes more than like a week, 2 weeks. Like I don't buy too many at a time, and so I feel like they usually last me like maybe 2 to 3 weeks when I buy them. And it's the way that they just died. Like, and again, some red potatoes, bitch. You know you be cooking them shits quick as fuck. I didn't even have them red potatoes 2 weeks, and they were liquid. Really banana? Really banana? That banana sounded so strong, bitch. Like sometimes shit be filling up my fucking freezer. And I be so grateful, bitch, cause it's the way my motherfucking baby toe could have got. But yeah, I freeze all my bananas at some point because I believe I'm gonna thaw them out and make banana bread, and I haven't done any of that. So no, cadet, that part. Like I think things are really expired and they're just saying whatever they want to say because they need to make a sale, girl. So that's my energy, is like fuck these hoes. Anyways though. Where were we? Yes, we were talking about Venus. So the Libra is in the building, the Taurus in the building. If you are feeling like you just gotta finally laugh or giggle or just do something that you might want to say is escapist, just know that we cannot sit in our despair consistently. There will be breaks in the pain. Ooh. What up, boo? But with that being said, there will be breaks in our pain, and that's a good thing. Like, we should not be consistently experiencing pain. That is not for us. But again, I just want to hold that. Bitch, did I really lose my lighter? Really? Really? Bitch, I was doing so good. I was doing so good. This is why I tuck it under my belly, bitch. High key. This is why I tuck the shit under my belly. Because if I don't... Okay. Well, I clearly took it from under my belly. You said they had you on psychotic for years now. You mean an antipsychotic? And I mean, hear me out. Hear me out. I don't know why we would expect anybody to be okay in this world that we live in. Like, I don't understand why we would expect anybody to just be good. But with that being said, it is easier to give somebody some pills than it is to actually rehabilitate or care for them correctly. And so that's all I'm going to say about that, you know? And we even rehabilitate, bitch. Okay. So right now we're moving on to Mars. Mars is the god of fighting, the god of war, god of strategy. Mars really has hands. And so I'd like to say that like collectively this is where we're like fighting or learning to fight. We're also in the first decan of Capricorn, all like we're about to be. So just this energy in Mars already. Woo, that's a lot. Capricorn 2 degree, a wisdom tooth that has been removed from someone's mouth. It is plated with gold. It is useless to know certain things out of context. If you have always known something crucially important, that kind of knowing does not serve you any longer. So you must place yourself in the antithesis of what you have always known. And then, when all seems lost, chaotic, and super strange, you must find deep inside you that the massive superstructure, the beliefs and the concepts fall away, crumble to dust. But what was deeply and truly learned and made your own emerges far stronger than ever and provides a basis for the future. Meanwhile, in the thick of the action, it can look pretty desperate until the need is so acute that you reawaken that special place and make it work for you. When truth is a matter of life or death. And you know what's interesting? Capricorn degree 3, the one after it, is the one that I'm deeply connected to. It's called A Woman Sniffing Pepper and Sneezing Violently. But there's also another one that defines it as a reference book on poisons. And so again, like us getting to that degree in Mars, like our fighting, Capricorn fights very much with wisdom, very much considering the future. And so with that being said, a wisdom tooth that's been removed from someone's mouth and it's plated with gold. And so I'm going to look for the other ways of talking about it. Again, John Sandbach, he's a bad bitch. All you have to do is honestly type in like 2 degree Capricorn into Google, and then you can scroll on down. I want to say it's usually like the 8th. It's on the first page. But like I was saying though, Capricorn 2, a painting which causes those who see it to become silent. That's in our fighting. Manifesting, sensitive. Poyel is the angel. Poyel. Dispelling anger, fortune, and support. This degree knows how to introduce receptivity to other people. That is, how to get them to receive information more deeply through catching them off guard, often without knowing it. It has a compelling presence and can trigger thoughts and awareness in other people, which it didn't mean to. It can open up new and unexpected ways of seeing. The Chandra symbol for this degree is a wisdom tooth that has been removed from someone's mouth. It is plated with gold. This is an image of the essentializing of truth, the distilling of wisdom down to its simplest, most concentrated form. Like the painting that is so compelling as an experience, it silences all debate, speculation, and criticism. This degree is about cutting away the dead wood of knowledge, paring down to what is clear. What we think we know is so often very different from what we really know. But when stress is great enough and crisis occurs, we find out the difference between the two, and the eternal is clearly separated from the illusory. The truth of this degree is that we eventually realize that we are the wisdom we seek. A mysterious colored window used to contact other worlds. An idea, like a tree, branches out in many different directions. The seed degree is 22 Aries, a gentle, mild-mannered author who writes horror stories. Why did I say Stephen King? Let me stop. Mr. Will, thank you. I'm crying. Grills are so fucking beautiful. Like I've been following a couple people who are grill makers. My God, the grills are just getting more gorgeous and elaborate. I don't know if you've been seeing them. Friendly Jim, if you're not appreciating the content, you could keep on scrolling, babe. You can keep on scrolling. I am just a big eggplant just hanging out. Why you gotta be so negative? You can't remember if Pluto was destroyed. Pluto definitely not destroyed. Pluto is literally the planet of death. So good luck. Like I was saying though, seed degree. So the degree that is the seed. A gentle, mild-mannered author who writes horror stories. When we exercise our fears, we can come to a much deeper appreciation of the significance of what we've created in our life. Puppets coming alive at night. When our imaginings take on a life of their own, we are able to gain deep insight into ourselves. Fulfillment degree, 23 degrees Scorpio. A man repairing damaged inlays of precious stones on the Taj Mahal. Entering the silence, we return with a renewed ability to preserve and protect all that is most beautiful and wonderful in our life. A collection of dolls. Attuning to the deepest and purest wisdom allows us to see how personality works and to discern all its multifarious manifestations. I'll be real with you. This degree, 2 degree Capricorn for Mars, God of War, it does make me consider how we are in the technology age, information age, and how we fight needs to be more strategic. That's why more people are relying on just sharing videos, just sharing the evidence, not going back and forth. Notice there's so many videos now that are like such and such exposed, such and such break silence, such and such like posted this or that to like, I'm screaming. I mean, I feel like the coolest thing about astrology to me is that it's been around much longer than anybody ever talked about a god or worshiping a person. And yet people think that that's not for fun. I think that that's what's funny to me is like people know that the planets exist and looking at the degrees tell us so much information seemingly, right? Because people wrote this down, right? People who felt like these degrees meant something wrote this down. But it's the way that like so many religious texts have been utilized to harm. And I've never seen astrology hurt anyone other than people using astrology to make sweeping statements about other signs. I've seen that. But I've never seen someone be like, oh my God, that Gemini. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just thinking like, oh, like fuck the moon. Like, I know people hate the sun. I know some people have anger for the sun, but still, it's just funny to think about how like there's all this lore written about things that we know exist. And again, even though like Christianity is like part of astrology, like the ways that like most of the people putting together the Bible in its early manifestation were people who watch the stars, people who watch the like it's wild to think about, but these star names, like if you study astrology like outside of America, you'll notice how many of the gods that are in the Bible or the not the gods, but the stories in the Bible, how close they mirror like African astrology. Like it's just fascinating to think about how like white people stole so much, but they disconnected it and they remixed it and they chopped and screwed it. And so many people think this is right. And it's so fascinating to think about. Friendly Jim, I'm really just saying, like, if you don't like it, am I a girl or a pregnant boy? Thank you. Thank you for that question. I will think about that forever. Thanks. Yo, Apple took some money out of my account recently too, and I was like, bitch, I don't even have an Apple. I'm like, where's this money coming from? Like, I'm just like, hold on. But I don't know. I have a conspiracy theory that there are a lot of companies taking like little bits of money out of our account. And depending on how poor you are, you may not have noticed. That's my conspiracy theory. A calcium cyst in your uterus. I'm sorry to hear that. Have you thought about using RSO? The marijuana makes me more masculine. Tell me more. Tell me more. I'm so fascinated by the way you think. Okay, also, for any Sagittarius people, Jupiter, the ruler of Sag, has been in Cancer and will be in Cancer until I want to say the middle of next year. And so I want to say that like until the summertime. Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer, as someone who has Jupiter in their or who has their Jupiter in Cancer, it's a desire to connect. There's a desire to connect with collective. There's a desire to be around people. There's a desire to be supportive in a way that, again, informs how we're thinking, our desire to learn more. Jupiter is the planet of expanding. So expanding, wherever Jupiter is, that's where you're expanding. Cancer is the moon, is the waters, is the emotional ebbing and the flowing, expanding emotionally. So Jupiter collectively for all of us being in Cancer means we are all being asked to expand emotionally. Think about people around you. Who is breaking down and really letting you know that they could really use some support? If you have it, please reach out to them. If you are that friend, there will be links in the bottom. I hope you check them out. A lot of them will be about uplifting and resources for free. A lot of free resources. So just keep that in mind. You don't got to pay no money. But I know that it's, in general, a wild time to be alive. And then people wanting to reconnect could be even more fucking terrifying. So please don't shame yourself for being just leery of people lurking on you or not talking to you. It can feel weird, but I think a lot of you are about to have people popping out soon. So I hope that you are ready for that. If you're not, just let the people know, hey, I'm not really ready to talk, but thanks for reaching out. That's a nice way to say, leave me alone until I stop feeling like this. You don't have to say, leave me alone. You can just say, hey, give me a minute. I'll be right with you, or I'll get back to you when I can. Now, Saturn. Saturn is the god of time. He is the god of resources. He's the god of money. So low key, he's daddy capitalism. And so with that being said, I want to say Saturn is where we're learning a collective lesson. Okay, Saturn is a teacher at the end of the day. He learns so motherfucking much. That's why he be sitting there talking so motherfucking much. Like low key, like between me and you, the lore of Christianity, very based on Saturn. Sky Dad. Big Saturn things. Again, as a Capricorn, I'm just more aware of the ways that these themes all reconnect. And also, one thing that I learned is that by reading my rising degree and doing more research, I'm actually someone that has learned how to translate multiple messages, which is why some people appreciate my content. I've been able to share things across many communities because there are some things that are always going to be connected by oppression, by anti-blackness. And so with that being said, some of you have found my content because you needed to hear something said differently. You heard it before, but you needed it said a little differently, or you needed it said connected to this other community. That is why some of us have connected or reconnected, because you just needed someone to say it differently to you. And again, that matters. Like some of us don't realize, like having information is one thing, how you share it is another. That's something I didn't always know. I think some people are aware of that, which is, again, why I think some people do come back to see, what is this bitch talking about now? Some different shit, but my energy is very much on some, I'm grateful to still be here, grateful to still have things to share, and grateful to know when to shut the fuck up, you know? That's my energy. Anyways, Capricorn, big Saturn daddy, is in Pisces, 25 degrees. Pisces is big illusion. Big delusion, big I believe. And I want you to consider moments where you realized you were believing something very wrong. And the shame you felt, maybe, or the fear, the disappointment, the isolation. Yeah. Pisces, 25 degrees. People and animals frightened during an eclipse. going deep and going far, yet emotionally afraid and bereft, impelled by great force of being to carry on. With destiny strides forward, you are periodically swamped by onslaughts of everything feared coming true, being certain and being terrorized. The exquisite gift of pulling yourself through the enactment of personal, collective, and ancestral nightmares. You feel a consecration to what is coming into being on the expanded horizon, and a warrior's courage in always going back and grappling with the lingering shadows. A mission that cannot be refused, and a sense of purpose that defies its own collapse and rises from the ashes repeatedly. So I just want y'all to know this has been energy for the last 3 years. Just so y'all know. That's why I've been feeling crazy. Collective lesson has been in disillusionment. And unfortunately, we've seen some people jump off the cliff with their thoughts, right? We've seen it. We've seen people think things and all of a sudden they're gone. All of a sudden they disappear because they realized, or someone told them, or they were able to get enough space from people to reappraise what the fuck they were saying. And so again, Pisces 25 degree is not a game, friends. Pisces 25 degree is not a game. Peanut, you can do that in here if you wanted.
Okay.
He is smoking a dab. If you're not aware of what a dab is, it's when you smoke weed that has been turned into liquid. Yes. So if you smoke vapes, if you're a vapor, it's like that, only like way stronger because they've refined it. Like when you smoke out of a vape, they've refined all the things that he's smoking. What he's smoking is the heated and pressed version of weed. And so I want you to just consider that the whole plant is a medicine, but there's different ways to alter the plant to get different things out of it. Like if you cook weed down for a long time, it'll turn into pure ambient. Like you can go right to sleep, or you can put it on your body and it'll actually cause your endocannabinoid system, which is something we all have. Look into it. ECS. It will cause your endocannabinoid system, which is attached to your nervous system, all the other systems. It will cause it to, connect with anti-pain. And so with that being said, there are some people that don't realize, but smoking weed has actually been saving you mentally, emotionally, nervous system wise. And it's not to say that there's not different ways you can consume that are better for you. Because personally, I've said this to newbies before. If I could start over, I would only do edibles. I would not smoke flower. I would just take edibles because I would not have to worry about any of the bullshit that comes with trying to roll the fuck up anywhere. And also, I would not have to deal with people knowing that I smoked. I feel like that's one cool thing. And if you are someone that's new in your smoking or learning about THC, really look into RSO oil, because again, if I could start over, I would make gummies out of that, and that would be my main habit. And I'm working on that right now because I feel like if I were to get more of the cannabinoids versus just straight THC, because that's what you mostly get when you smoke, I think my desire to smoke would be less, but that's just a little hypothesis I have. I don't know for sure. I know also that if you have ADHD or autism, smoking can also be a part of your stimming. And so putting that out there, that some of you aren't addicted to smoking, you need a new thing to stim with. Like you need a stim toy or some other action that you can, again, use as your stim to calm you. And again, I'm not trying to do too much about health and wellness. I feel like, if we're able to get it, that's cool. If we're not, we're not. So I did want to say though, Pisces 25 degrees is our collective lesson. And I'm going to read you the long format of this one because again, I know. Some people have been feeling really like, what the fuck is going on? And sometimes the planets can really help us figure out why we're feeling like this. And so that's why I'm doing it. You said the big bonnets make you feel like a chef. The little bonnets make me feel like a chef. Like, bitch, I feel like I work at Popeyes right now. Like, I feel like this is giving big Popeyes. Okay, Pisces 25 degrees. On top of a high hill. Listen, let it out if you gotta let it out. I don't mind pausing for you, buddy. Also, really, I put it in the freezer for you. It's like melty. It like melts on your tongue. It's medicine. Okay, Pisces 25. On top of a high hill, a circle of standing stones. Interacting, inspired. The angel is Ail. Ail. Ail.
See you in a little.
Oh, you're going back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, you.
Don't worry, they can't see you. I'm crying. There is a point. Great expectations, transformation to the sublime. There is a point where human striving has to give in to pure receptivity. And at that point, what may have seemed so very difficult to accomplish is found to be effortless. This degree is capable of direct attunement with the light and is able to uplift and refine even the heaviest of frequencies. It might be called lightness of being. Its ultimate challenge is how to communicate this lightness to others in a way they can take in. The Chandra degree symbol for this is people and animals frightened during an eclipse. The shock of the unexpected can wake us up so that we see our reality in a new way. There is nothing to be afraid of here, but the people and animals do not know this until only after a few minutes normality returns. And it is to be remembered that even though solar eclipses only happen about twice a year, this degree lives continually in that state of surprise that the eclipse has produced. It is always tapping into the strangeness of life and the energies at work beneath the surface and beyond the pale that our perceptions have set up. Because of this ability to tap into a greater reality, this degree can subtly and sometimes quite overtly shock others into new awareness. And those awareness have to do with bringing that which was unconscious, the moon, into alignment with the consciousness, the sun, so that insight is gained into the hidden aspects of self. All of this happening quite spontaneously and surprisingly. At the river, singing and purification by water, a beautiful city suffused with an emerald glow. The seed degree is Capricorn 30. A crystal made in a laboratory is buried in the ground. To bless and heal the earth invites help from the spirits from above. Blue morning glories, growing up a tall trellis. Climbing ever higher, we experience the shock of convergence of who we thought was ourselves with our true self. Fulfillment degree, Libra 30, a small pale moon in the afternoon. Focusing and exalting our energies, we come eventually into the realization of the nature of subtlety. A black rooster, the convergence of the darkness with the light awakens us to the possibilities that transcend the normal and expected. Keep that in mind. That is our Saturn energy. Saturn is literally about to go to 0 degrees. Aries. Yeah, Saturn is about to move into Aries. And so if you think about it, everything's moving backwards, right? So we're going from Pisces into Aries. Aries is the beginning. Aries is the first sign, okay? And so Aries 0 degrees is not even just a seed. It is literally a plant. It's like a seed that already has a sprout. And that's the scary thing about seeds that have already sprouted and you don't know what they are. Because that's the very energy of what's happening. Something has grown and is being planted, but how much energy do we have to devote to this seed? That is really the question to be asking. Saturn is very much long. It doesn't just move into a sign slowly, or rather quickly. It moves very slowly. And so we're moving slowly out of Pisces, but we've been stuck at 25 degrees. Consider when an eclipse happens or when it happened earlier in human awareness and recordings. think about the ways that we really may have thought the devil is here. Think about the ways people think now. Like people are really returning to that time of like it's the devil. And again, the ways that we can regress in our fear, the ways that our fear can make us say things that do not make sense. But again, when you're afraid, does sense need to be made? So again, it's the ways that so many people are afraid right now, that they are looking for signs that what they think is true. And so the people that are God fearing, they're looking for signs that God's coming back. And again, the ways that they use like signs to see that God isn't here. I want you to just consider like how people are talking, what people seem to be learning, how they seem to be learning, how some people communicate on this thing. Like I remember myself, like I feel like there's definitely times where I get like really afraid and I start talking from that fear. And then there's moments where I have to hold that like we're all afraid, And again, I feel like even that, the collective lesson, we are all afraid. And the ways that like some people's fear is louder than others. Some people's fear sounds like hate. Some people's fear sounds like disconnection. Like, again, I want us to just consider that the sky, the planets, like we're on one right now, the earth. Like imagine and it's funny, I'm saying like imagine if the earth was, and that's Saturn, right? Saturn is the earth, or Saturn rules the earth, or one of the rulers of the earth. I know not all of it. Obviously, I think all the signs play their part, but I think if we're going to talk about manifestations, I would say the earth definitely is giving big Capricorn energy. With that being said, though, Saturn, the earth being in fear, the earth being afraid, like I think we can all see that. I think that we can all see the fear in the animals, like the ways that the oceanography, the ecology. I'm fucking up the word, but basically what I'm talking about is like what's happened in the oceans. Not even just the recent microplastic shit, but the historical deaths that have been in the ocean. I recently read something about how chattel slavery actually changed the ocean population, that like throwing people into the ocean actually changed so many levels to it in terms of like the pH balance of that salty mixture that again is taking in life, and the ways that of course people die in the water. Not that many. And again, the way that chattel slavery actively compelled people out of these boats, actively threw people if they were not well enough to be taking that voyage. The ways that, again, there are so many ways that the fear is being felt by the soil. And again, the people, of course, can feel it. We're all connected. Like, it's wild to consider this, but we're all very connected. Hold on. I think I skipped Cancer. I think I really did. I think I skipped Jupiter and Cancer and the reconnection. I really think I did that. We can go back though, don't worry. All right, as I was saying, Jupiter and Cancer is about reconnecting with people. It's about deepening. It's about learning. It's about leading emotionally. As I said, Jupiter is expanding. Cancer is deepening. So we're expanding, but it doesn't look like this. It looks like this. And again, the ways that the expanding internally, the ways that expanding in Cancer, the crab, the creature that much like Capricorn can swim and can walk. That energy in Jupiter. The energy, because Jupiter got a lot of energy. So Jupiter, Cancer, 23 degrees, a man putting together pieces of broken pottery. Nothing works anymore. The form of things is breaking apart. In your mind's eye, you can remember how it once went, and you can certainly try to put it back together as it was. There is something about doing this that teaches you all kinds of things. And when you are called inside to reconstruct the old world and somehow keep it together one way or another, you must do it. One lesson you will eventually learn is how the mind works and why it is convinced that this task is so very necessary. But meanwhile, there is an elegance, sophistication, a cultured touch, and sensibility that provides entry into so many fascinating worlds. Karmic recapitulation, going back to the same places to do the same things, can be quite a story to tell. Every bit of it as ebbing as it happens. All of your constructions in mind and outer form cannot hold on much longer. But the ego mind is most tenacious and insistent in such destiny verges, hoping to postpone the deluge one more delicious moment. And so, with that being said, Cancer 23, a man putting together broken pottery. I want to say right the fuck now that there are people that we all see who think that we're going to make America great again. Consider that some of these people think to go forward, yes, my titty crack itches. Some people think to go forward, we have to do the same shit we did before. And I'm not saying much different. In fact, I would say me and the MAGA people have a lot in common. I do think we need to go back to be great, but I think we need to go back to before colonization. That is where we differ in thought. There are some people that think just far enough so white people can be in charge in a particular way. I want to go back to when we knew that the animals were part of our lives, where we knew that a bug was not meant to be trapped in your home, was never supposed to be trapped anywhere, just like us. I want to go back to when we knew that somebody being disabled wasn't worthy of killing them. I want to go back to when we knew that somebody being born and being alive as a celebration. It wasn't a moment to consider the ways that this person was going to be a burden on society and to create obstacles for them to be stuck and trapped in a system that would never treat them well. And therefore, why would that person treat anybody well? They're already being shown that the world does not love them. Why would they love the world? Again, I want to go back so far that we forget how to speak. And I want y'all to think about the ways that the babies don't know how to talk because they don't want to fucking talk like this. They don't want to speak like this. They don't want to learn how to lie. Like, I think about the ways that like some of y'all don't get it, but we ain't never going back to what the fuck you thought we was gonna go back to, and it's okay. It's better than okay. It's great. But some of y'all are so fucking afraid, and I have to hold that like, so am I. So am I. So am I. And how we show our fear is really gonna matter right now. How we show our fear is gonna be showing people, can you connect with me? Can we be connected with? Oh, and I want us to consider that like these babies do not want to talk like us. That's why they're not fucking talking. They don't want to fucking mask. They don't want to say, how are you doing? And know that it means nothing. Like, they don't want to fucking perform. Some of y'all don't realize how much you're performing and how much the children cannot do this. They have not been beaten enough. Like, some of y'all don't realize that some of the behaviors that people do is because they were beaten so fucking much. Some people only do certain things because they've been abused, not because they're a part of an actual society. This has not been a civilization. This has been a psychological operation that has been harming all of us for a long time. And some people will say things that'll make you very afraid. And again, I want you to sit with your fear. Please, please, please sit with your fear. Because if you don't sit with your fear, you might make somebody else have to hold it for you. And who knows how you're going to throw it at them. I just want you to consider that. Like, again, this is not no written down shit. I'm reading this stuff, but I feel it more than ever. Because everybody's trying to figure out why the kids don't want to be like us. Bitch, we don't even want to be like us. Like, that's the most fucking sick part. People be wondering why these kids acting like this because they can't act like their parents. They can't operate like that. It's not realistic, especially in this time. Again, I have a lot to offer, but sometimes I know I sound redacted. And again, the ways that like the people that are going to sound crazy are going to be the people that realize that no matter how I say it, it's not going to be received well all the time. And I have to just get over that. I have to just really get over that. Again, I'm not reading your comments because I don't want to get off topic. I will read them now though, because I'm trying to talk about Uranus. I'm trying to talk about your booty, and I feel like we'll pause. We'll pause for a second because when we get into Uranus, I already know we're gonna be talking about some other shit. And I know I just had a moment, but I'm just telling you right the fuck now. Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, all three of them, and fuck, Jupiter's in retrograde in what I just said. So even the idea of the pottery being broken, how many people don't realize that? How many people don't realize that there's nothing broken? that if there is something broken, thank fuck. That if something is breaking apart, yay. But again, the ways that some people really want to hold on for dear life, not realizing it's death. Fuck. Like how many of us have held on to death thinking it was life? That's what it's talking about. You can worship the sun. Some people do. Not the weed is doing the talking. I disagree. I disagree. I'm trying to think about what I'm even smoking. Bitch, you know what's funny? I'm actually smoking. I know it's gonna give uncredible, but I'm smoking something called green crack. They actually changed the name of it because white people wanted to buy it, and like a bunch of white women who are soccer moms were like, "I don't want to smoke crack," so they call it now Green Crush, which is funny as fuck. Because again, I like the strain. I think it's very uplifting and lively. It's great for the morning. It's great for the morning, but I know everybody got to be able to handle smoking some shit called green crack. So that's why I call it Green Crush too. Cause I'm not about to miss out on these dollars. Cause honestly, people be motherfucking scared of crack. Meanwhile, bitch, TV is crack. The phone is crack. Like between me and you, it's a lot of crack out here. But as long as you're not smoking on a glass dick with a rock, you're good. It's just the ways that we notice like certain things and be like, that's the bad thing. Motherfuckers be so sucked into these phones, but that's not crack, right? It's just funny to think about. Oh, Jim, I appreciate you. Word. I mean, hear me out. Hear me out. I appreciate people talking about zodiac, astrology, tarot, all of that. And I think that, again, they didn't burn the witches. They burned women who thought for themselves. They burned women who were queer. They burned women who were healers. They killed women for doing things that women today do now, and it's seen as a fad, a trend, when really a lot of us are returning. And I'm grateful, very grateful that the Christian church couldn't trick me into thinking that I saw life when I saw death. Like I'm grateful that I saw the death before I died. Because woo. I'm crying. Not this sounds demonic. Okay, could that? I really wonder. When you were saying your ass went through slavery for years, do you want to talk about what you mean exactly? Um, Listen, the person called Jesus Lord saying that this sounds demonic is funny as hell to me. Just thank you, Jesus is Lord. Just thank you for that. I needed that. Um, but yeah, no. Like I was saying though, I know not everybody is going to appreciate what I'm offering, and I've already read that in my birth chart that there are going to be people who are negative towards me, don't treat me well, think that I'm a demon, think that I'm a witch, and like think that that's worth punishment. I already know about that. I already know. So that's why I don't really worry too much. I do not worry too much anymore. All right, so Uranus is at 28 degrees. One thing I want to note is that there are 30 degrees total, right? And so once you start getting up to 28, 29, 30, That's when you're getting up there to where the sign has mastered the energy, right? And so Uranus being in Taurus, Taurus is I have. Taurus is I have, is declarative. It is aware of its abundance. It is aware it will get more. And so Uranus is the god of technology, the god of invention, the god of rejection, the god of talent. In Taurus, I have. It can mean that there are ways that are coming into view that make sense, but not to everybody. There are ways of seeing that will make sense to so many people, but not to everybody, and we have to be okay with that. But more importantly, we have to show them. That's what this is telling me. Uranus is about showing people something that they haven't seen before, or that they haven't seen in this age. And so Taurus 28 degrees, a man making candles out of beeswax. The sweetness is in the returning to those sacred places always known, and now being at ease there. The natural man strips away false layers and finds somebody underneath who is poignantly familiar and resonantly true. The search, the quest, the process, the intricate extended process. For everything depends upon entering the process and giving yourself over to the master craftsman hands of the creator beings. You are simply a seed blown by the wind. And to become this completely is blissful fruition inwardly smiled into being. And so I wanted to just sit with that for a second. I'm going to keep on going with the Taurus 28 degrees, but I did want folks to consider that just as I've been saying the future is indigenous, what were the indigenous doing now? Around this time, what were early humans doing? I'll tell you, preparing. And honestly, right about now, they were at the end of their preparation. Okay? And when I talk about preparing, I'm talking about the winter solstice that's coming. That is the longest period of darkness, meaning that in the time that it takes to get there from now, the animals are hiding. They are burrowing. They've been burrowing. A lot of the vegetation, a lot of the greens, a lot of the plants, they're sleeping. There are so many ways that the earth gets quieter in December, especially around the 21st. And also the food becomes more scarce. It becomes really hard to figure out how you're going to survive. And obviously now we have the invent of, grains and rices, or maybe not the invent, but we were stocking up, right? Some of us, if you weren't findhelp.org, or findhelp.com, we're able to, actually it might be .org. I think it's findhelp.org. You'll be able to find some pantries again. Like, I'm not trying to make it seem like we're still not trying to get our food sources together, but the ways that we're in a higher, we're in less control in winter when we think about early humans, because we did not have the access that we had all throughout spring and summer. A lot of the food sources are going down. The ability to store, the ability to keep things frozen or in salt or in a brine, those things were not always possible, especially as the winter started to settle in. And again, it's the way that people from experience started to learn, from the sky, what time it was in terms of their food supply, paying attention to the ways the earth moves, and they had to move as well. And so Taurus 28 degrees is very interested in going back to a time where we knew we had to plan, where we knew that like this world wasn't just a given, that survival was not promised. And again, it's the ways that for the past however many years, there have been many people who thought we'll just survive. There's been so much labor stolen from the global south. that some of us here in the imperialist core thought that our lives would just sustain. No. And again, that's terrifying. As I keep saying, we're all afraid. How are we communicating our fear? 20 Sagittarius, excuse me, Taurus 28. And we're talking about Uranus. We're talking about the god of technology, of thinking outside the box. A man channeling a set of degree symbols, transforming, receptive. The angel connected is Yael, letting go, mental force. You are intuitive, you intuitively understand how energy works and perceive overall patterns in life in all their complexity. You may find it difficult, though, to enter directly into experience, for you often can't decide where or how to jump in. You need to learn how to put aside thought and act spontaneously, even if it means at times stumbling or falling. The Chandra symbol for this degree is a man making candles out of beeswax. The candles spread light just as the degree symbol spread knowledge. Each candle might be different and unique, just as each degree symbol is. What is of value is light and understanding, and just as candles burn away and more are needed, new symbols reveal new truths. And so this degree serves something that is eternal and beyond time, wisdom as a manifestation of spiritual light, and through candle making serves that manifestation of spiritual light as it becomes physical light in the material world. There can be much patience here. The degree feels fulfillment when it finds a meaningful goal to focus on and to which it can steadily and faithfully apply its talent. A ritual gathering to celebrate the completion of a gigantic labyrinth. The seed degree is Aquarius 26. The sound of the ocean kept in a small box. Sensing the vastness contained in the smallest of things, we perceive that all reality is filled with a meaningful play of symbols. Dragonflies around a stagnant pool, perceiving the decay of the world and yet still being able to hover above it. We are impelled to find new ways to share with each other. The fulfillment degree is Capricorn 5, a photographer hand coloring a landscape. The degree symbols bring new colors to the world so that we are able to free our imagination to see existence in new ways. Tall, dark cypress trees in a cemetery. Illuminating the darkness, the light makes us aware of a more deeply enduring spiritual knowledge whose roots are deep in the earth and whose branches reach to heaven. Doors, portals, and passageways of all sorts were opening, like flowers in a spring garden. He strolled through worlds that passed like clouds, and the worlds echoed each other, creating memories that condensed dewdrops out of the mist. Crystalline eyes looking with surprise on these places that ever renewed themselves in unexpected ways. And amongst these worlds, he found many homes which he loved to return to for a moment, then soon was compelled to leave, for the vacuum of the unknown sucked him onward. Yeah, this one really makes me think about the ways that we need new information that is coming from an old place. And yet, how deep or how far back is anyone willing to travel? I think about that. You said Uber Lyft. Okay. Cadet 99, can I ask you a question? Are you a person of color? Can I just get some tea? And I'm just trying to understand because again, you said that you were feeling enslaved by Uber and Lyft. I don't know anything about that. I'm definitely down to do some more research, but I'm just wondering who I'm talking to right now, low key. Lowest of keys. And I'm hoping that you're honest because again, I'm not mad if you're white, but if you are white, I would like to intervene. I'm crying. Somebody on Twitter just followed me and their name is Fat Coochie. That is funny as fuck. Thank God. Always need some fat coochie on you, you know? Anyways, word. Okay, okay. All right. All right, your personal color, and you said that, and what are you talking about Australians for exactly? I'm genuinely just trying to understand where you're coming from. I'm really not trying to come for you, but I'm genuinely trying to understand. Um, but if you don't got it, that's real. If you don't know, oh no. White people found out about a cornbread. Oh my god, bitch! I just seen cornbread ice cream on the timeline. Oh my god. Jesus. Oh my god. Can't have shit. Can I have not one thing? I'm so sorry. Cadet, I'm hearing you again. I'm just trying to see, if you would actually consider Uber and Lyft more of like, predatory jobs versus like you invoking that you were a slave to Uber or Lyft because you did consent to work for them, right? You chose to work for them. However, enslavement that indicates that someone took you away. I just want you to consider in the future not using the word slavery to talk about these corporations. They're not enslaving you. They're giving you a job opportunity that they're actually denying many Black people. And on top of that, you are able to leave. You are able to absolutely leave those jobs and do something else. I'm not saying that there's many jobs out here, but I want you to just reconsider using the word slavery, please. Because again, you using that terminology paints a different picture than what is happening. You are making a choice to work with these brands and you could not. You could absolutely choose not to. But will you? I just want folks to consider. And I'm not trying to talk too much shit, bitch, because I can't get hired nowhere, bitch. I've been applying. They've been playing games with me. They've been playing games with me for a minute. So just wanted to put that out there. But I appreciate you for contributing, though, in all the ways you have. Now, this next one is Neptune. I feel like we've talked about Mr. Neptune. He is the god of illusions, delusions, god of sleep. I don't fuck with Neptune. I think he's a hater, personally, but I feel like that's my own personal, don't read too much into that. But when it comes down to Neptune and where Neptune's ass is at, Neptune has been at Pisces 29 degree for a minute, bitch, like for a minute. And the thing about Neptune is it's a generational situation where there are many people who really do think, I feel like I keep saying this, but we were in the age of Pisces and we've been in the age of Aquarius since 2011. So I want people to just consider where they were at in 2011. And I want folks to consider where they're at now. And Pisces is, I believe, I follow. And Aquarius is, I know, I lead. And so with that being said, Pisces 29 degrees and Neptune very much makes people feel like they could go back. I want people to consider that. Some people really think they can go back to a time where Black people were enslaved. Some people want to go back to that. And that is the part of Neptune's Piscean energy. Neptune and Pisces have been connected for the last 14 years. I want you to consider 14 years ago. What was happening? Hey, Buki. I'm almost done. I'm going to finish with Pluto. Pluto's my last one that I'm going to do. I love you. All right. Pisces, 29 degrees. Balinese dancers wearing... What's in there?
Bags. Plain and onion.
Okay.
A little cream cheese.
Ooh. I'm actually really interested. Sidebar. Your chicken, I think, is still warm.
Yeah.
You're welcome. All right. Pisces 29 degrees. Balinese dancers wearing elaborate gold costumes. Scintillating performance. Learning by heart all of the ways to perfect the earth dance. Elaborately and ritualistically devising and setting up cycles, projects, programs, and trainings to master skills, to develop missing areas, and to make up for what we are felt to be gaps and gaping holes. Remedial practice. Going back to go forward. Relentlessly pursuing perfection. You are granted a sensibility that knows and can recognize anywhere the real thing, the fulfilled prototype. Tyrannically beset by the need to embody that archetype no matter what. Putting yourself through hell to make it happen. No sacrifice is too great. A virtual masochism of submission to programs, trials, and cycles. Trancing out on discipline and constraint. Yet you are ultimately inspired and infused with a marvelous and even a spectacular self-witnessing capacity and self-reinventing skill that does work if you stay with it forever and refuse to hear of anything less, no matter how crazy it momentarily seems. So, for the last 14 years, what seemed crazy, but motherfuckers still did it. That's the energy of Neptune right now. It's like, for the last 14 years, I've been working on this. Why isn't it working for me? Pause real quick. I have to cough crazy. Okay. And so as I was saying, like for the last 14 years, Neptune has been basically doing this little dance with Pisces, but it's over. Like Pisces 29 degrees, like that is the mastering of the disillusionment. And again, the idea that like people are going to all be at this in the same way, moving the same way. It's a desire by the colonizer. That is not anything we should desire. We will all never think the same. And thank fuck. Think about people that complement your mind. I know I have one brain cell. My partner's brain cell helps mine all the fucking time. And I'm sure some of y'all have best friends and their brain cell helps your brain cell. But the ways that like some of us think that we're going to on some fucking last airbender shit, like we're not gonna all be on the same accord, babe. We're not. And I think that I think that's scary to some people that like we're all going to think very different things, that we're not going to all think the same. I see so many people, especially black folks, trying to assert like who black people are. And unfortunately, I think the worst part about that convo is that nobody knows all black people, not even black people. And so even considering that there's a way to say there's a way to group us all together, there's a way to speak to a certain community a certain way. I want you to consider that like there are so many people out there that have so many ways of behaving, and it's not always simple as saying they want to be white. They want to assimilate into white supremacy. There's so many reasons why people do certain things. And yet we a lot of times tend to boil folk down to a behavior system that again may not really be what's actually happening, but it's what we're seeing, right? Or what we think we're seeing. And so I want people to consider that whenever you look at someone and you think something right away, what's a lot of times not being considered is that something is missing. A lot of times we think we see something on somebody. We think we see something on them, inside them. And really, a lot of times we're unfortunately seeing something missing. And there's something missing in us too if we're looking for others to see these things that we would have to get to know them to know we see or to even really see. I want us to consider like just because you look at someone and assume something about them doesn't mean anything about them. It's more about you and why you need that person to behave or perform in this way and for it to mean this or that. I want us to be careful about assuming that all such and such people do anything. It's not true. Sure, all white people have white privilege, absolutely. But more so, what I'm trying to get at is white privilege is a way to name a behavior of a colonized behavior and couch it in a people. That is unfortunate at this point because if we're honest with ourselves, we can hold that colonized behavior is the issue, not someone being white. And I want folks to consider the issue was never that anyone was black. The issue was everyone else assuming and believing that that meant something about those people when really, when we thought we saw something in black folks, what was missing in us. I want us to consider those layers to judgment, to looking and deciding. I want you to consider what you lost. What do you lose when you tell people who they're supposed to be, when you assume they're supposed to be? What are you losing to? I want us to consider that layer to this. Now, the last planet I'm going to comment on is Mr. Pluto. If we got any Scorpio people here right now, baby, you're not going through anything. You are experiencing something new, and I'm excited. Pluto is the god of death, and because of that, he's the god of life. He is the god of rebirth. He is the god of knowing that you are not dead. He is the god that says, "Yeah, you died, but they didn't kill you." And it's an important thing to consider that yeah, you have died. Probably a couple times. But did they kill you? No. And so keep that in mind. Pluto is a reminder that, like, yeah, some shit gotta die because some shit wanna live. Some shit has to stop for other things to begin or to continue. We have to consider how everything means something else. Somebody passed on, real. Now you're with their spirit. But also, somebody passed on, and that means that they've left a life of perhaps suffering. There can be so many ways to look at suffering and pain and death, and some of them make people uncomfortable. Nobody, not nobody, but many people don't like the idea that people pass on and there's nothing because we want something. We want their death to be a marker, to be a symbol, to be a moment, and it is for us. But the ways that we can sometimes want death to be so permanent, to be such a mark of time, when really we should be celebrating the life we now have because of that death. But again, should we be doing anything really? I don't know. Anyways, God of Death is an Aquarius too. A woman strolling in a garden. She is unaware that she is being watched by elves. We adopt a split screen mind when the outward frame of things seems so insistent that we must be reasonable and logical and make complete sense in a quantitative, functional way. But what happens is that the other side of our awareness, the outlawed side, gets very strong in the subconscious and stays alive. We can almost play off of it in emphasizing our skeptical or worldly approach to things. But there's a joke to it. For you are aware of what you are not aware of. You are tuned into the very things you deny. This kind of edge hones the mind and the soul. It teaches invaluable lessons, not the least of which is to make way for the unknown while hugging the known close to you, knowing all the while how profoundly the unknown beckons. And so again, right now people could be going through some mental health crises, feeling like you're talking to yourself too much. That's a lie. Talking to yourself is a good thing. Being aware of your energy, being aware of how you're feeling, being aware of the many ways that this shit could play out. Again, I know that when people talk to themselves, people can really make a case that you're having a mental health issue. But I prefer to consider that talking to yourself is what we're doing when we're journaling, when we're sending posts from one Instagram account to our Finsta. Like there are moments where you're definitely talking to yourself, but people can't see it or can't hear it. And so it's okay. But let someone see or hear you talking to yourself. Now it's a problem. I personally feel like because of that layer to that, I don't think it's a problem. I think the problem is people perceiving us and again looking at us and saying something's there when something's missing from them, like fucking empathy and curiosity. But again, who gets mad when people aren't curious, you know? And I wish we did. I wish we did get more angry, but we do not. Okay, Aquarius 2, an alchemist trying to capture a spirit in a forest. The angel is Mabahel. Farewell to arms, truth, liberty, and justice. This degree is always looking for help in accomplishing whatever project in which it is currently involved and seeks especially to enlist the support of natural forces. It understands that those forces are at work everywhere, including in each and every one of us. And so it calls out to the pure and natural energies of its fellow humans to work with them in the process of evolutionary change. The Chandra symbol for this degree is a woman strolling in a garden. She is unaware that she is being watched by elves. The power of nature is all around us and within us. And even though we may not experience it directly, we have the potential of tuning into it psychically and deriving immense knowledge and support from it. This degree is aware of the elusive nature of the forces that come together to create our world. It is seeking to contact those forces, but knows instinctively that to do so will take patience and will require a gentle melding with those energies. By letting go of desires and agendas, one can find the whole world ready and waiting to assist one's spiritual growth. The Omega symbol shows the more aggressive side of the degree, but alludes to the truth that even when this attempt to capture knowledge is overt, it still requires inspiration and openness to the possibilities of the moment. From a blue sky, a torrent of rain suddenly begins to fall. Waking in the ooh, look at them cutting me. In the middle of the night, waking in the night, a man reveals, from a blue sky, a torrent of rain suddenly begins to fall. Waking in the night, a man realizes a solution to a problem. The seed degree is Aries 23, a painting with countless layers of paint. Refining, reworking, and revising leads to the possibility of capturing the essence of a thing. A bottle labeled "Drink Me." Through being open to allowing ourselves to change, we open to the possibility of entering new realms of reality. The fulfillment degree, Taurus 26, all over the city, words on scraps of paper flowing through the sewers. When the spirit is captured, so much mental baggage can be let go of. Grotesque rocks in a sand garden, attuning to the spirits of nature, we come to appreciate how individualized and unique it is in every aspect. And so, as I was saying, Pluto, the god of death. What up, Ken? Babe, it's been a minute. I hope you're doing okay. God of death, Pluto. He is very, very, very much into letting shit go so that new things can come in. Aquarius 2 is literally on the same type of time. The idea that when we're doing anything, we don't in the back of our mind have other things that we're thinking as well. You may be around people you really love, but in that moment, you could really be processing some pain. There's so many things happening that we can't see, so many healing moments internally that others will never feel, will never witness, and they're still there. They're still existing. And yet, this Pluto Aquarius energy is really asking us, when's the last time you allowed yourself to ask why, or to even go back into maybe an old journal, go back into an old post, go back into an old app or an old account you used to be a part of. Like, what would you do if you saw your old self again? How would you talk about them? How would you describe them? How would you sit with them? And again, I've been doing that actively. I've been sitting with like older conversations I've had older videos I've posted and just sitting with the reality that, like, you can think so many things and share so many things and then keep living and realize you were wrong, or keep living and realize that you didn't read enough, you didn't listen enough. And it can be really easy to think, oh man, this time I'm going to do it right, this time I'm going to do it right. And I want you to consider it's still the first time. Life started on this planet one time and it never stopped. Think about that. That at some point the entire earth was covered in slugs and things that didn't speak with words or noises. I want you to consider that at some point there were mushrooms that were gigantic that covered the whole earth. I want you to consider that trees are new. I want you to consider that we are in a time where we think of trees as just a given when they're actually new. They're newer than we actually understand. And again, the ways we're taught about time, it's in a cup. It's the way that we started. It's the way that some of us really think like the 1900s is the most important like time period, and it's so fascinating because it's like they made it up. Like they wrote these numbers down, they made them up. And again, it's the ways that some of us are scared as fuck to go before the time was written in terms of thought, when that is what I do all the time. The plant work I've been doing, these plants have been around before trees. That's what I'm trying to explain. That some of us have access to information in worlds that have already existed. And we're getting them because we're dealing with plants, we're dealing with ancestral veneration, we're dealing with, actually sitting on God, this planet. It's God. And yet, so many of us come up with all these different words to describe, and we all are not saying the same things. But does that always matter? No. And I think that's a beautiful thing that I can sit up here and talk for almost 2 hours. And some of you will get a lot out of this. Some of you will squeeze this like a little piece of fruit and get some juice. Some of you will really see nothing here. And I appreciate that. I appreciate all perspectives on whatever's happening here because, again, this is a horoscope. This is what the energy of today is on. But also, some of these planets don't move for a while. So some of them are the ones that don't really move that often, they're getting ready to move. And so some people are going to start feeling kind of out of body, kind of like they're not well. And really, I want you to consider that a lot of what we perceive right now is passing. That this moment, it's almost gone. That when you're able to be present, when you're able to be in the moment, that is beautiful because so much of us are just work, dinner, best friend, phone call, cash a check, pay a bill. Like, again, it's the ways that there's so much here that we're supposed to clearly engage with to get out of that system of operating. Takes help, takes community, takes reading, takes support. And again, how many of us are really supposed to live right now? You're not crazy. Like, if you really feel like it's time to go, I really hope you reconsider, but I understand. I've definitely had some moments myself, but I'm also holding that, like, astrologically, this is a very aggressive time. A Sagittarius stellium means that there is a big desire to escape. I have a Sag moon, so I would know. There's a big desire to just go. I know somebody out here booking a flight, thinking they can outrun globalism. It's unfortunate, but there's nowhere anyone can go. Any one of us being oppressed is all of us. And I leave you with that. Anyone enslaved, anyone being harmed, it's all connected. And so there's nowhere to run, which is why we must speak to each other, which is why we must listen to hear and not respond, which means we'll have to tell some people, I'm going to get back to you. I have to think about this. I really hope that we slow down, okay? Because Sag new moon and also just the Sag stellium, who everybody going to want to move real quick, want to move real fast, want to talk real fast, want to understand right now. And you might not. That's okay. Anyways, as I was saying before, though, look at your birth chart, please. It's going to help you figure out who you're supposed to be in this time. I know I'm a communicator, which is why I'm trying to remember that how I communicate to people will actually impact them. And that is something I haven't always considered. Sometimes I really let communication, the standards drop. And again, the ways that I will never stop thinking about what things could have been if I would have held space for curiosity, if I would have came at them asking why gently. It's a great time for gentleness, and I know that not everyone's offering it. So I really hope that you can offer it to yourself at least first so you can get a taste of it. At first, it'll feel really weird, but I promise you, some of us have been a part of so many systems of just pain and stress and anger and meanness that it can be hard to even give yourself the kindness you deserve. I really hope y'all work on that more than anything because you can't give shit that is sweet and loving to others and not give it to yourself. It's not realistic. It's gonna be a performance, and then at some point you're gonna get mad as fuck. I promise you. Trust me. Anyways, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to the horoscope. I hope that today you just take a deep fucking breath and you remember all this shit could disappear. What do we want to save? What do we want to keep? Think about that. What is worth keeping about this? What have we learned from colonization outside of fuck colonizing? What have we learned? Think, please.